topic. This is the summary of the dream. I dreamed that I was outside, I was working in the yard. It was during the day, could have been around 3 or 4 p.m. Okay, it was just a normal day. Nothing was strange about this day. But as I was busy working in the yard, it was then that the sun suddenly went dark. Like it became evening overnight. It just dimmed. So it was just now in the evening. Not at night. It looked like it was now in the evening. And I was thinking, like, what in the world? So I looked up in the sky. Okay, I was trying to study the sky, trying to see if there was a storm that was approaching. And then I began to carefully study the sky and the clouds. It was then that I saw a cloud that was in a shape of a long spiral. Okay, and I thought that was very strange. It was then that I began to understand how people feel when they see wonders in the sky and they grab their phones and they record and they post online. I got to understand how they feel when they see such things. But for me, I had no interest or urge to record because my videos wouldn't be so clear because it was dark, okay? The clouds weren't as clear. My videos wouldn't be as clear. So after a while, I decided, like, you know what, let me just try and get some more work done. I was just being stubborn, really. So I just carried on working. After a while, I decided to just leave everything. I just told myself I can do this another day. So I began to pick up my garden tools and I started to walk to the house. As I was approaching the kitchen porch, it was then that it went dark, pitch darkness. Like I couldn't for the life of me believe what was happening. And at that time, I began to quickly hurry to the house. And there was this fear that just grabbed my heart from nowhere. So I couldn't run because it was just dark everywhere. So what I did was I just tried to hurry as quickly as I could, got into the house, and then I just ran in, and it didn't even come to me. I don't know why I didn't first quickly just lock the door. I just wanted to get indoors. I just felt I'd be safer indoors. So I got in with the tools, and then I put the tools down, and then I looked behind me, and the thought to lock came, but curiosity got the best of me. I still wanted to know what was happening. So it was then that I went outside. Okay, and I was with my little one. I was with my daughter. So when I got inside the house, she was the one that saw me. So when I went to look outside, she naturally just followed me out of curiosity. So she and we went outside the porch, and just stood looking up, where we just stood properly in the yard where we could safely look up to be able to see what was happening. And as we looked, like, we couldn't believe it. We saw objects that were round, that were turning around, that looked like little spaceships. But as we looked at them, it was then that we saw this big spaceship. It looked very complicated, very modern, very fancy, and it had all these different colors on it. We stood there in shock. After a while, we ran back into the house. And after getting into the house, we looked back. Since the door was open, we saw light. We saw like light that was torched where we were standing. We saw that a circular light that torched where we were. And after a while, the light went. And in the dream, we understood it to mean that the spaceship had stopped and were inspecting if we were still there. After a while, my daughter and we ran outside again in curiosity. We looked up and we realized that the spaceship was going. But then we saw what looked like rocks that were spiky, and they were about to fall to the earth. They were falling down at such a high speed. So my daughter and I began to run back into the house, and then we just jumped down, just bracing for impact. It was at that time that I wished that we had a stable table that we could both hide under and feel safe. And we waited and waited and waited. Nothing happened. And then I got up to go outside to inspect. It was then that my daughter just ran. She just ran inside the house, ran into the bedroom. I think she wanted nothing to do with this. But I went outside to inspect this some more. When I went outside, I realized that no, these rocks were coming at a high speed, but they were still far. They were still far. I don't know how long it would take for them to hit Earth. So meaning there was still time. I don't know where would we run to, but there was still time. And as I looked at them, there was a fear that gripped my heart. And then I heard a voice saying, "You have been warned. You have been warned. You have been warned." It was said 3 times.